Hello and welcome to Relationships and Astrology. And today we're talking about the full moon in Taurus in November. And I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin.
And I'm Armand Diaz on Long Island. Margaret, I don't know. Look at this full moon. It's a full moon in Taurus. The moon likes to be in Taurus, not so happy being full. Trying to Saturn and Pluto. What do you think?
Well, I think that it's a little bit like feeling an earthquake underneath us because, Taurus likes things to be steady and kind of to go along. And, especially in relationships, the moon in Taurus can be lovely to cook a nice meal together and some cuddles and affection and maybe go for a walk and so on. But this trying to Saturn Pluto really rocks the boat. So there's this rumbling that's been going on a while, and really it's getting tighter and tighter and stronger, louder, building up to the January exact Saturn Pluto conjunction. And I think this feels like a kind of a little bit of a shake-up saying, don't get too comfortable. There are changes happening. So I think in relationships, this could really maybe create some cracks that are already there, maybe amplify the cracks, or maybe start some cracks that might get a little deeper.
Yee. Well,
sorry, yeah.
Now this puts me in the awkward position of being the optimist for this.
Absolutely, you've got to find something good, yeah.
Well, let's see. Trines are nice aspects. I mean, maybe it would help us to. I have to say though that it's true. This full moon is not conjunct Uranus in Taurus. It's pretty far away from it, and yet, the moon, while it is essentially full, will go over Uranus, and that could open up some cracks, type of thing. And then, I don't know that I really see much repair work going on with the trine to Saturn and Pluto. Not at a full moon. If it was a new moon, it might be a little bit more encouraged. But at a full moon, it does seem to be, it seems like Saturn and Pluto, maybe in other areas of life even, are creating their pressures, and it's just flowing into this full moon. And it could certainly rumble through any area of life, but relationships are, right at the forefront when things get rocky. So I do see it coming in as being a little bit of a threat to the status quo. Now, here's a good question: do we have a strategy for dealing with this?
Very good point. I mean, I think whenever a full moon is in an earth sign, it's back to grounding in ourselves. It's like if an earthquake is coming, you try to get somewhere where you're protected and you try to feel as stable as you can in yourself. So even if the ground is rumbling all around you, you kind of have a sense of center and a sense of stability. And I think that's very important in relationships, that, if they're romantic relationships, that couples kind of, hunker down together and feel, okay, we're stable in our relationship. Even if cracks show up, we can deal with them. And that's really part of the ups and downs of relationships. Similarly with friendships and family relationships, that people really trust the solidity of their relationships and know that, whatever the rumbles are, we can get through this. And that if something comes up that we need to look at, we'll look at it after the full moon. Now, the interesting thing is that the full moon, the sun is conjunct Mercury retrograde still. So there's a danger of confusion. There's a danger of things being said, misunderstandings, the usual Mercury retrograde issues, but they're going to be amplified because it's a full moon, because the full moon brings up all this unconscious material. So a simple misunderstanding is likely to, suddenly explode into something going back 10 generations of, especially in families, when you said this to dad, or when you said this to your brother, do you remember what you really meant? And I was hurt. So to be very careful of that, and in relationships as well, that it doesn't become bigger than what it really is. So back to grounding, back to common sense, back to kind of trying to keep ourselves anchored. That's my strategy. What do you think, Armand?
I guess that's good. that sounds like it could work. I would. Well, one thing that I would say, but we've been saying this a bit lately, is that not every relationship is going to have cracks in the foundation, or this. It is either if you're already in a kind of vulnerable place, then that's going to be. It's the shakier house that comes down in the earthquake. Or if if you happen to have significant planets hanging around the 19 to 20 degree mark, and they're going to get hit by the full moon as well as other things, you might feel a little bit more. So not everybody's going to feel it. I think that coming into this full moon, it's a very, very active time, and there's a sense of having a lot of, this is not a sit around kind of time. The moon is in Aries right before the full moon on the weekend, and we've got a full moon. It's a good idea to work off things with exercise, or just run your tensions out in some way or another that is more or less productive, or at least not harmful, and not to just bring it into relationships.
Yes, and I think with Taurus, there's always the avenue of creativity, which is a very good avenue, as well as exercise. So doing something that you enjoy, something outdoors, but also something maybe creative, or even just going to a beautiful art gallery.
Great idea.
So we'll leave you on that note, and let us know, give us some feedback. We always love to hear from you, how you got on with the full moons or the new moons. So let us know how you get on in your relationships.
Okay, and I'll be off to the museum tomorrow.
Absolutely. Enjoy.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.